Thank you so much, Odd, for being on the show. So, Odd, how did you feel when you first became a mom?
When you see your child for the first time, you understand what love really is at that point in your life. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I think it's very different. I think the fact that it's, I don't know, it's a huge realization of what lies ahead.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, it's a moment, I think, overwhelming because there's so much emotion. There's love, there's responsibility.
What happens is, though, the baby, and it certainly happened with my experience, is that the children led the way. They teach you how to do stuff. So that's...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what about as parents, who's the good cop and the bad cop?
We really try and back each other up as much as we can. But we always have encouraged like a very open discussion, so there's no secrets really.
Yeah.
And I think that works. It's more, perhaps a bit more confrontational, but it allows everybody to voice their opinion, and I think everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Absolutely.
But I think when we have to put our foot down, I will say something and Farhan will always reinforce what I say.
Yes, both you and Farhan are very successful in what you do. Because you're both such strong figures, do you think that sometimes the kids, do you think they want to follow that path, or do you think they're very independent in what they want to do?
I think we are the least cool people in their lives right now, actually.
Really?
They are very independent. Fiercely so, my elder daughter, Shakya, who's now 14. And Akira, who's just 7.5, is also, she's also got this very fiercely strong character and personality, but without wanting to sound cliched, we really seriously want them to do something that makes them happy.
Having 2 kids who are 6.5 years apart, what are they like as siblings? Are they close? Do they fight? Are you a referee? Because I remember you said that once, which I quote you all the time.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like a mama's job is to be a referee and to be kind of equally balanced so that one doesn't feel any more love than the other, or vice versa. So, yeah, it's a refereeing job. I think because my children are so far apart in their age gap, I think it was a little easier than perhaps your situation.
Yeah,
and 2 girls versus 2 boys is a different kind of chemistry altogether. So Shakya was very, very keen to have a sibling, and if it wasn't a girl, she was sending it back.
Really?
So at the time, it was great because she was thrilled about it. We were obviously thrilled about it. And Akira got a very big, warm welcome. And I think because I had to spend so much time with Akira at that stage in her life, the rest of the family all really rallied round and made sure that Shakya, who'd been the only child on both sides of the family, so everybody rallied round and made her feel good. So, and then later on, obviously, the little pinches that happen under the table as their relationship builds together, you know. But generally, Shakya is very, very protective of Akira. I think she would really step up for her, but they're not stuck together all the time. They have their own sets of friends. They have their own sets of things to do. And then the usual, you know, if the one wants to borrow something of the others, then it's like, but then what will you give me? And these barters kind of go on, you know. And
you're part of a set of twins.
That's right.
And you have a younger brother. So you're actually part of 3. So do you find that your kids do things that you did as kids? Or?
Absolutely.
So you can see bits
That's the mirror image you get of yourself, and you're like, oh. So, yeah, many times, many scenarios, I see stuff that we have done repeating itself.
As kids of celebrities, do you think the children are aware of this? Do you talk to them about it?
We don't, but I think other people do, which is, it goes a little bit out of your control. So they eventually, as with all children, end up forming their own opinion anyway. I think for Akira, who's the younger one, so Farhan had already started this process. When Shakya was born, the process had just begun. So for her, it was kind of a natural progression. She doesn't really watch any Indian films specifically. She'll watch Farhan's films, maybe sometimes, not always. Akira, however, watches the films and gets very affected by some of the scenes. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I think we'll have to learn to cope with different scenarios as they arise.
So, Odd, is there anything you'd like to say to other moms, other parents out there about being a mom?
I think the one thing that when you become a parent, the thing that I found the most irritating is that everybody wants to offer you advice.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Whether you ask for that advice or not. Yes. So I'm not going to sit here and give any kind of sermon. I think you have to follow your gut and listen to your gut. And the way it's worked for me so far is that I've followed the lead that my children take and have tried to guide them from whatever I know and have learned in my life.
No, that's wonderful, and I completely agree. One of the reasons I started the show was I felt no one gets more advice than a pregnant woman and a young mom. But I think what you've just said to me is really interesting about how the kids actually show us the way and teach us the kind of parents we should be or that we are. So, Odd, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.